Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers. Just trying a whole new streaming setup. We'll see if we can get some results here. Let's see. Oh, hello, Malky Hendry. Hi, I'm good, thank you. It's been a week now since I got back to Thailand, here in Phuket, so it's very hot. Well, oiled beef. Hi. It's a wee morning, the wee morning hours, is it? Okay, it's nearly 9 o'clock in the evening for me. Squirrel Sniper, hi. Mark Kamsari, hello there. Mike Dorman, is that? Good day to you, sir. All right, looking good. Thanks for popping in. Hopefully we'll get a few more as time goes by. So I'm not sure exactly. Okay, I'll leave it where it is for now. I'm using OBS, so forgive me if we have some technical issues today. Glenn Souch, hello. I only have sound on the left side. Okay, I'm not sure if that's anything to do with me or not. If you're getting sound, great. Hello, Dr. La Swadika. Good to see you. I have, okay, mono sound only. Weird. Okay, how would I... let me just... okay. Give me a sec. Let me try and... I'm not sure if I can adapt the settings while I'm streaming. This might get tricky. Audio... okay, my audio says... It says stereo. Scarlett. Yeah, I'm using this Scarlett, well, this microphone with the Focusrite thing, and I don't know why that would only be mono. Let's have a look. Is anyone else experiencing that problem? Oh, weird. Okay. I don't know why that is. Oh man. Should I spend time worrying about this? Let's have a look. Microphone. Yeah, I can't see how I would change that, to be honest. Let's have a look at the advanced settings. Recording. Stream. Yeah. Oh, I don't want to keep people hanging around while I try and fix that. Hello. Alright. Okay, is it... can I switch audio to mono? I can't really see a way that I can change anything, really. I'm honestly not sure why that is... why that's happening. Okay, what we got there? Vegan, hi. One man, hello. Okay. Louis Russell, Flat Earth all day long. Mark comes through, glad to hear. Okay, thank you, yes. You've enjoyed a lot of, what's that, Malky? A lot of DICE videos recently, so well presented. Okay, I'm not sure. Is that David Weiss, do you mean? Yeah, he does. When I first started off doing this, they were kind of very much, they would take a long time to get the videos together, and very well received as well. It was, and of course, based on research. Now a lot of that research has been done, and those videos are there, and it's nice to just kind of have this chat and see where things go. So. Okay, thank you, one man. Make no difference, really. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Okay. It's crackly. Oh, no. What the hell is wrong? I have no idea. Okay. Never mind. Right. Okay, yes. On with the show. Okay. Oh. Okay, me touching that did something. Great, okay. All right, fantastic. Yeah, I made a load of notes. I got a whiteboard ready. Okay, so I was going to do some things here. Let me just try and quickly, let's look at this a second. Okay. Okay. What I wanted to put on was this. Okay, no, not that one necessarily. The other one. I want to get rid of that layer. Hang on a sec. Alrighty. Okay, hopefully you can see this shot. I was looking out to see what this Artemis mission, what photographs they have of the Earth so far, and this is about the only one I could find. This is a clip from a movie on a YouTube video where they move things around and the globe Earth comes into view. I thought let's just take a look at, of course, what's the first thing that stands out to you? Yeah? What are we not seeing? We're not seeing any stars, of course. Yeah. And excuses about exposure and things like that are ridiculous, because we've got what should be some decent cameras on this. And I think a guy's gone through a list of, there's something like at least a dozen, maybe about 20 or more cameras supposedly on this thing. Yeah, there we've got this what is said to our Earth. Now I was looking for it, but I couldn't find it. But you remember we do have a shot of a globe Earth with the moon going past. It was taken from, allegedly, from one of those satellites. I think it's going around the sun or something like that. But then you've got this, very CGI moon going past, and of course everything looks big. And it could be zoomed in or whatever. You could make all the excuses you want, but the size of the Earth compared to the moon is kind of, maybe that was in the previous one that I was talking about with the moon going across the Earth. That was more of a realistic or view, I'd say. This one, we've got the usual shot where the Earth is very far away. Okay, the moon is supposed to be 250,000 miles away. Any comments on that shot by anyone? What's that? 16 cameras. Okay, says Mike. Okay, thanks, Mike. Okay, hello, Slowburn. Yeah, one man, one pick. That's it. A gazillion-dollar mission. We've got one pick so far. No photographs of anything while during the takeoff or anything like that. Yeah, total. I mean, you even flying back from Thailand or on the way. These. I went with Emirates, so it was what was it? A380 on one of the legs. Phuket's airport isn't big enough for the A380s, or the runway isn't long enough for the A380s. And the other one, I can't remember what the other one was, but basically you could see, you've got cameras all the time. You can see the front, and you can see the ground, and you can see from the tail. And they've got all the, they've even got displays with the HUDs and things like that on. So, they can do it on your average airliner, but they can't seem to do it on this very important mission. So, Glenn Souch, you feel like Luke Skywalker should be flying by soon. Okay. I wonder if I can try and maybe bring both of these in here. And not sure what's happened to me. Okay. Yeah, I seem to be freezing up. So okay, I'm gonna turn off that one and go back to me. I'm not sure if that's gonna continue streaming. Have I frozen? Oh man, lots of technical hitches today by the looks of it. Okay. What's that, Rich? Ryan. The instant they show stars, there will be experts posting that the position of the spaceship is wrong. Exactly, Ryan. That's a good point. It's just too difficult, isn't it? I think that's one of the things we kind of discussed before with the. Okay, looks like I'm going to have to try and just a second. I think I've frozen here, so let me just. Whoop, hang on a sec. Let's activate that again, and hopefully. Right, hopefully we've got a moving picture now of me rather than freezing. Let's see if that comes through. Yeah, Rich Spillman. One live launch room said the telemetry data was more important than cameras. Who needs a camera when there are cartoons? Yeah, Mark Kamsari. Maybe they went full circle and realised that they are too far to see. Rich Spillman, that's from 53,000 miles out. Seems small, the Earth. Yeah, the little blue marble. And the speech they were giving with this, the rhetoric, it was very kind of puffy and PR-y. Yeah. So the shadows look wrong. Yeah, I've seen some Mars photos recently. There's the sun coming up on the horizon or going down, but then you've got these shadows under the Mars rover that are just as if the sun's directly down. It's just like these guys in the CGI department just don't care. Well, or beef hooked. The Winnebago has no headlights. Monkey boy pup. Yeah, the Earth should look huge at that distance out. Natalie, hello. Are you still in sunny England? No, Natalie, I'm back in Phuket now. Yeah, good to be back, and it was very good to be in England. Wonderful time in England. Met some great people. Fantastic. Really good. Didn't catch up with as many people as I would like because of just trying to keep up with work and things like that. It was a really good experience for the kids. The older of the two, I think she benefited very greatly from it. She's very keen on going back to the UK, and so I think it was really beneficial for them to see another culture. Of course, it wasn't like it was interesting. My daughter kind of commented. She said, and she's only 14, but she said, "Oh wow, it must have been really tough to go to Thailand and not know anyone and not know the language and be, whereas she was obviously being taken over and in a kind of comfortable environment, but she was able to kind of think about how it was for me coming to Thailand. So it was good, she was able to put this kind of make a comparison. My 12-year-old, well, he's 12, so for him maybe it was interesting to see a difference in their perception of or understanding of the difference, or just appreciation, yeah. So Mark's telling me you can set a delay for audio in the properties. Okay. Yeah, thanks, one man. Yeah. So this is it. You read the newspapers and it's all doom and gloom, and really the of course we know that the propaganda, especially over the last few years, is what basically got the public just acting so insanely. It's very nice to see things back to normal, no masks and things like that. It's still present here. They still try and get my kids to wear masks in school, but even though actually in Thailand October the 1st was the kind of official, you don't need masks anymore, but the school is still trying to insist that they wear masks. I just tell my kids, rather than confronting the teachers about it, I just tell my kids, just don't do it, and if they do, don't wear them. If they do get on your case about it, then just tell them, it's the whole thing's over now. Yeah, good. I think to be honest, there is there's always it's not that bad. There's always opportunities, and that's what I could see. There was at least obviously everything is very high tech there in the UK. You go through an industrial estate and it's very clean, and and factories are very quiet, and there's all this equipment there that's obviously very good, and so in terms of that, it's really and I think there are always new innovations. There's a constant drive to create new industries, which obviously keeps people going. So Mindfocker, hi, good afternoon from Spain. What's that, Mark? I'm sure, as far as I can see, many globers are embarrassed of the outcome of that mission. They could even debunk it themselves. Yeah. Well, I did have okay. One thing I was able to do with someone I know back in the UK who is a total glober, and anti-flat Earth. I can't. I showed him on a flight simulator with the Oculus Rift, the what do you call it? The virtual reality goggles. Yeah. Now, this person's very familiar with all the usual nonsense and trollop that comes from these globers, especially this ridiculous argument that they've formulated about the horizon appearing below this line on the heads-up display of an aircraft, and this being proof that the horizon drops below horizontal. And it's just like, okay, look, first of all, that's a total straw man argument, and then trying to just get across what we mean when we say the horizon is at your eye level or rises with your eye level is exactly that. The horizon shows you your eye level, and so if you've got any of you globers watching here, if you've got this Oculus Rift or whatever it is, or the goggles for playing, and you've got a flight simulator game, all right, Wolfie, you can try this yourself too, okay? And you can even, but you've even got shots in your from your cabin where you move the camera about and the horizon goes up with you. So if you do this, if you're playing this flight simulator and you stick your head up like this, you can put your head up outside of the cockpit, and you'll see that the horizon rises up outside of the cockpit. Okay, that's it. It's as simple as that. And the simulation has got it right. It shows you what happens to the horizon in our field of view. That's how it looks in reality. You can't really compare it with anything else in front of you. Well, you can, but there's no point in pointing at the wing and things like that and saying, "Oh, that's your eye level." The horizon is your eye level. That's it. It's as simple as that. And this is easily testable by anyone, anywhere, anytime. But you see, people end up denying this simple fact of life just to defend their belief in the globe. You shouldn't have to do that. If the globe is science, then you shouldn't have to be talking about any of these things. But of course, we know that the globe model depends entirely on this idea of looking down towards a horizon. Yeah. So what else we got in here? Hello, Mindfocker. Good afternoon. Okay, we saw you already. One man. Okay, what's that? One man in his detector. A guy at your work has a blood clot in his willy. Was that from the jab? Yeah. Yeah, very good. That doesn't get you banned from the chat there. Automatically banned. 2 more have been hospitalized with thrombosis. Yeah, it's all happening. And of course, again, you can raise these kinds of points, but yeah, everything else is moving on so fast that all that stuff that happened is being quickly forgotten, isn't it? Glenn Souch, what's that? HUDs are calibrated, which means adjusted, and they are adjusted from the horizon of sea level. Okay, yeah. And what's this one, man? My boss had something removed from his stomach. He woke at night in very bad pain. 5 hours. 5 hours he was on the operating table. Do you mean back, had something removed and then he was in massive pain and then back on the operating table, or was operated on because of the pain? What's that, Mark? Globers need to understand that an airplane flies at an angle so the nose of the plane is around 3 degrees. Yeah, I think I can't remember, but yeah, it's about that. Yeah, for a most kind of jets. Yeah, but it has to fly that way with the help of the wings to even stay up. Exactly. Yeah, and the higher you get, the less air pressure the less lift there is. So absolutely, yeah. That's right, Mindfucker. Nobody seems to connect the dots, and that is the thing. I mean, another thing I've noticed is that, well, we've all noticed it, and we've all borne the brunt of it. Is when people get very abusive, and the arguments often start because they say some snide remark. Now, really, we know that these snide remarks are because they're doing it in defence of their belief. And what was it? Oh, David Weiss was debating with this guy who calls himself Professor Dave, and this guy, so-called Professor Dave, is just constantly going at David Weiss with very, very childish, snide remarks, just sarcasm and just this kind of superiority thing, looking down on these people. But these kind of people, they don't only do that with so-called flat earthers or truth seekers. They do that with all kinds of people that they see as inferior to themselves. If you're on a journey like most of us are, then part of that journey is coming to kind of leveling the playing field between yourself and everyone, and you at least accept and you understand that people are not. We aren't. We might have different backgrounds and things like that, but that doesn't make us any better or less or superior or whatever to anyone. We're all having an experience here. We're all, in some ways, victims of our early experiences, and really, I suppose part of this whole thing is just trying to improve yourself, better oneself. And that doesn't mean better yourself to be better than others. It actually means that you kind of, you drop that whole Dunning-Kruger thing, yeah? And so I see this in these people that are defending their belief in the globe, and they point the finger and then and you don't want to get into an argument because you're rising to it then, but you can't help it because they're just so pig ignorant, I'm afraid. Hang on a second. What's up, my love?
Sorry, hold on. Sorry.
That's okay.
You just need your phone to.
Oh, yeah. Okay. There you go. All right.
To the thing for my cousin.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that. Oh, Mark. Okay, actually, you're saying, to be fair, David Weiss wasn't debating Professor Dave. He was debating Fight the Flat Earth. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Whatever. Yeah, Mike, you're right. There is no real argument because they don't have one. Yeah, so this is it. I was faced with the same things, even after, again, you're describing this, showing how the horizon actually works. And that's what we mean. There were still, these arguments came, the Cavendish experiment, gravity is a container. You just, woo, woo, woo. I said, no, you just keep trying to bring them back. Where's the curvature? And it's like 1 minute they're saying you can see the curvature, and the next minute they're saying the Earth's so big you can't see the curvature. Just, again, like you're saying, Mike, wasn't it? They just don't join the dots. And that's what we've all done. We made an effort to join the dots. What's that? Whale oil beef. Ridicule remains a primary scientific proof of the spinning space. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. What's that? Itsu Raisu. Rich Spillman. The visual would be the cartoon. Data is always a lot more useful to have than visual. Think about a bank. Would you rather have a vault full of cash or know how much cash is? Well, yeah, good point. But the thing is, what you've got to understand, Itsu it's Raisu, or however you say her name is, that banks don't have vaults full of cash anymore. Maybe you need to do some homework there and understand that data in your bank account doesn't mean that there's gold or coins or notes locked away in some vault or moved across to your account in any way. The data is just there, it's made up. Yeah? It's still just numbers on a screen. And of course everyone believes it, and it feels like it has huge value because it's what, it usually tallies up to the work hours you've done and so on. And the same comes for buying a house and things like that. No money is transferred. Yeah, lots of data, but nothing physical is actually taking place. And so you can imagine that you've got there's a wad of cash there in some bank vault. It doesn't exist though, just because someone's put some numbers on your screen. So the same goes for all this nonsense about telemetry data. So yeah, there was what is it? There was this other picture that came up. So yeah, this of course. Let me just go back to that. This one. Let me show you this again. Yeah, we look at this, and of course it would appear that they've got it all sussed out. And yes, it's easy to make these illustrations. Is anyone really tracking this? Are they able to track it? What about this car that went off to Mars? Is anyone tracking that? We've got all these things worked out, but and I was watching the separation or whatever it was that they did, and this when at some stage 1 or 6 or 7 on the screen here, but no one saw anything. There was nothing being shown from the cameras on there. There was nothing really being tracked. It was just stuff on a screen. Yeah, just CGI. So yeah, it's really this is all we've got, really. This is all we've got. No one's ever given us a view of... Have we ever had a view of both? Have we ever had a view of the Earth and the Moon like this? Of course not. It's all in our heads. Yeah. So yeah, let's just keep that down there. All right, good. We're at least keeping both going now. So what's that? Hang on, we just look at the messages up here. Okay. "100 crypto keys. Did you watch Walt Disney?" FT, MFT. Effier's rule. I'm so happy I'm an unapologetic flatty. Unapologetic flatty. Okay. Yeah, well, this is... Let me just... Mark, as much of a know-it-all I never admitted to myself that I am cleverer. That's why they got stuck, because they can't admit they didn't know. I think you're right, Mark. You'll often find in these people that you end up arguing dead-end arguments with is that they are the kind of people that will never, ever, ever say sorry. They will never admit that they're wrong. Yeah. And again, this is something that you just learn along the way, that people aren't the same as us in that respect. They'll go through life never ever apologizing, never ever learning. Yeah. Yeah, Glen Souch Factional Reserve. Tinfoil Hatter, Phuket, we'll do it live. Okay. I'm not sure what you're talking about doing live, whether it's just this stream. Yeah, Mark, you're right. That's what NASA is. It's a space bank. Yeah. And you look at everything that's going on right now. Climate change, and billions of pounds is, for example, going from the UK or wherever. Taxpayers are paying for climate change initiatives, and are also funneling money into the Ukraine. It's just absolutely insane what's going on there. You've got these immigrants pouring into Ireland and things like that, and the UK. And what you have, again, what you always have is that people with positions of power in the government, whoever's bringing in these immigrants, for example, it's a very coordinated effort. There's a couple of arguments you could have there, isn't there? Because you could be talking, you could say, oh, we shouldn't have borders, and it should be. You could argue that, but the fact is that we do. And if I came to Thailand, and I've seen it happen to other guys, if I came to Thailand without a visa, I would not be let in. I would be sent back on the next plane available. Yeah, they would make an arrangement with the airline. Can you fit this guy on? Great, you've got a spare seat. Okay, send him back. He's not coming in. Yeah, simple as that. And so in a way, Thailand has maintained its sovereignty in that way, and I respect that. I want to come here and live. Okay, it's challenging when I can't get a long-term visa, or it's very, very difficult to get residency or anything like that. I wouldn't even bother now. It's just no point. But that's the thing. You can't just turn up. And actually, Thailand got a lot of stick once for pushing back Rohingya people on boats once. But the thing is, what you've got to remember is these Rohingya had tried to get into Australia and they were pushed back. They couldn't get into Australia. Australia doesn't let anyone in. All right, we've seen how hardline Australia is, and New Zealand with the whole lockdowns and everything. But as far as they don't let they broadcast it very clearly. You're not coming in. If you try and get in, you'll just be sent back. Yeah, you might even get shot at. Okay, so Rohingya arrived in Thailand, and the British media and stuff, I think it was Reuters, gave Thailand a lot of stick for. But the thing is, what had happened is they'd already taken in a lot. There are lots of people either on the borders or people that have arrived like that on the boats, and the thing is they're being held in places that they don't have the capacity. They end up being held in jails, in immigration jails, yeah, because there is nowhere to put them. They don't have facilities for looking after or resources for looking after people that have come here illegally. But they do, but they're full, yeah. And so the thing is, if they take in any more, they're already very crowded. You know what? You've heard all the stories about Thai prisons, yeah. But so you can imagine what these immigration places are like. They're even less of a kind of whatever fourth-class citizen. So there's nothing really done for them. Now, when they were turned back, they were given water and food and things. They weren't pushed back to starve. But this is the thing, in all around the world, this is what countries do for the most part. But there obviously seem to be factions in the UK, in these globalists that are all kind of rubbing shoulders at the summits that are making and breaking deals. So of course, certain people are now. We know as well from studies that if you want to undermine a country, then you fill it with immigrants. Yeah, you put them in there. So this could be just as NASA and everything could have been started by the Nazis as a way to just funnel taxpayers' money from US citizens into their coffers. Yeah, for an illusion. The same thing could be happening with the immigrants going to the UK or Ireland or wherever, and they're being, there are certain people that are funding this because to them, funding £1 million to paying some hotel owner £1 million to look after some immigrants for a year. That's nothing, £1 million to these globalist guys. And it might be worth it if they benefit in some other way from it. And of course, what you have is this is from the, people are now being even more severely or having long-term effects from the whole lockdowns and everything during the Rona. Tourism went dead. Of course, at the time, hotels were able to borrow, or small businesses were able to borrow. Of course. A lot of us were talking about how this is just setting these people up to fail and then be gobbled up and eaten up by the big corporations. We see that happening a lot. And so yeah, you basically, the whole Rona thing put people onto their knees, small businesses and hoteliers and hospitality industry especially, and pubs and what have you, F&B, put them on their knees. They borrowed money, they've got to pay it back. And so yeah, when someone says, "Oh, here's £1 million for the next year or so and you will fill your hotel," yeah, they'll take it if they're greedy buggers, and or if maybe they're just in that situation. Which reminds me of another thing as well. Sorry, this isn't. We all get to the kind of gravity stuff, but saw a tweet by a farmer, and it was basically, I think, a British farmer. Again, we were hearing these stories of the eggs and everything going up, but the farmers aren't getting paid anymore, and there's shortages, but actually the farmers have got thousands and thousands of eggs ready to go. But there's dairy farmers as well that are really suffering because they're just, they're slaves to the big corporations that are just literally squeezing every drop they can out of them. Of course, so dairy farmers are in this. It's just normal for a dairy farmer to be milking maybe once or twice a day, every day without fail. And of course that's done because the cows are injected with hormones to make them produce lots of milk, and it just becomes a never-ending cycle. And it's very similar to what you see going on in Thailand sometimes, with not necessarily with the farming like that, but with the rice paddies. As soon as people start using chemicals to get more crops, then they're using rotavators. They're not, so they ditch the cattle, they ditch the buffalo they were using. They're getting into using the chemicals. The chemicals destroy the soil, and they have to kind of use more chemicals to, it's just a never-ending cycle of total dependence. We see this with the American farmers as well, and Monsanto and all that stuff. Yeah. Now the thing is, though, that it's very sad for these people because they're really struggling to make ends meet now. But really, all they got to do is just cut that all off. Stop doing it. Stop thinking that farming has to be you being a slave to the big corporations that are going to buy up gallons and gallons of milk that you're struggling to produce. Just cut it down, get down to the basics, and serve your community. Localize it. Yeah, this is the answer. Go back to local farming, local markets. Again, that's what I saw missing in the UK. Here, at least in Thailand, you can set up your own business, and you can sell coffee, you can sell this or that, whatever. Yeah, and you can and most people are just happy and content as long as they've got enough to feed their family, get their kids to school and stuff, and then it's like they lead a happy life because they're not being crushed by this corporate enslavement. Yeah. That was what I would recommend to any farmer that's struggling right now. Just cut your losses. Don't get stressed. Reduce the. Stop using chemicals. Stop using hormones. Let your cows calf their calves. Let them. It's never made sense to me why you would separate the calf from a mother, because you still got to feed the calf something. The calf has got to drink milk. So why not drink its? It's weird if you're buying feed for a calf that you've taken away from its mother. That's just ludicrous to me. It just doesn't make sense. And then also when they cut the balls off the bulls. Again, that never made sense to me. It's like you've got a bull, you've got something that actually can create more calves for you, but you cut its balls off. I don't understand. There's no logic in there. But again, that's the way agriculture has gone. What I'm doing here is highlighting a problem that is kind of this is what the whole flat earth thing is all about as well. It goes way beyond the shape of the earth. It goes on to understanding just how bamboozled we've all been by greed. Mostly, a lot of the time it's greed, and talking about the people that we kind of people that we come across in a way they're greedy because they want to hang on to their belief. They don't want to they just it's mine, don't take that away from me. Yeah. So excuse me. Let me just scroll through the chat a second, and then we'll move on to some stuff about gravity. Yeah. Yes, Squirrel Sniper, absolutely. We need to go back to organic mixed farming. This is it. You know, the earth is abundant. It provides everything we need. And the fact that, for example, in New Zealand, Execrate, you showed a nice video of the spring coming on in New Zealand. You know, so in the UK, it's getting into, you know, harsh winter now, but in New Zealand, it's becoming spring and summer. I mean, this is such a precise, perfect design, and it's not by chance that the earth is spinning and going around the sun in a Goldilocks zone. I mean, it's so well thought out and intelligently designed. It's absolutely, you know, that's our God. The earth really is our, if you're going to bow down and scrape to anything, the earth that gives us everything for free. And we've been locked into this, basically you've got to pay for everything, and you're going to have to pay to breathe. Yeah. So, what's that, Tinfoil Hatter? If the moon weren't so impossible to reach or prove, that would be great for so-called science, wouldn't it? Yeah, I mean, you know, imagine back in the day if they just said, "Oh, sorry guys, we can't go. We don't know what the moon is." It's all been based on assumptions. Yeah. What's this? Bayou Flats. When my dad was a kid at northern border in Kansas, they just bought milk, eggs and produce to local grocery to sell. Then government got involved and screwed that to hell. No one was getting yeah. This is it. Yeah. You know, this is it's insane to think that has been yeah. And of course, you know, then the government is just doing the bidding of these corporations. Hang on a minute, I'm just gonna turn off that one. Okay, oh, right. Where are we? Glenn Souch. Okay, you're talking to Mark there. Tinfoil Hatter, oh yes, the rectilineator experiment. Did the Kirks ever get rectified? Sorry, the chat's skipping, difficult to keep up. Cellular Earth, hello there. Why do you think the rectilineator showed the Earth curves? Oh gosh. Ah, dear. That's all perspective, yeah. And again, you know, a few of us, and I noticed Del in the last time we had this stream when you were in it, Cellular Earth reality is like, yeah, we could talk about above us being some kind of dome or something or whatever, or we could be enclosed in something, yeah, and there could be some other, you know, there's no harm in discussing that. All options are on the table, but to make claims that the earth is, the whole entire earth is kind of in this cell and you're assuming that it curves up like that is just, you know, you're just misinterpreting perspective and how we see across a level earth, yeah, when you make that claim, yeah. And I'd be happy to talk to you about it on a sensible level, but to say that the rectilineator shows that the earth curves upwards is silly, because all you're doing is talking about perspective and the way a level surface appears to ramp up in and just as I was saying with the eye level thing, yeah. So again, the same argument for that is that the horizon is always at your eye level. That's just the way our sight works when we look across a level surface that's almost infinite, or we can never see that far anyway, yeah. So yeah, unless you can, you know, I'm not really interested in arguing if you're going to stick to that silly point. What's that, Mark? Glenn Sack, the last flat earth debate on modern day debate. It was a few days ago. It was epic. How these globers got destroyed, even with their tactics. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not interested in having a contest. You know, I'd rather just talk on a level. And that's the thing, you can't. This is what proves that the globe and all that is just it is a cult. And I got accused of being in a cult by someone I was having an argument with back in the UK. And it's like, okay, so what has a cult got? A cult's got leaders. A cult's got doctrine. A cult's and so I said, look, I'm going to lay it out for you, and just be clear that I don't have a model. I'm not making any claims about anything. I'm just talking about how reality is. Yeah, and there is no curve, and the physics of water. And we don't know if there's an end or an edge or whatever. Okay, we don't know where we are, don't know who we are, don't know how we got here. Okay, that's it. Okay, we don't know what's going on in the sky, except we know that it's a clock. This is kind of what I was going to talk about in some respects, but it is all related to gravity. But Squirrel Cyper, the horizon is actually higher than what our vision actually sees. What's that, DN? I allow Gardening Club to use plots in my garden, all for free. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. Okay. I'll just scroll through here a minute. Yes, Squirrel Sniper, it's that simple, isn't it? Not Euclidean and non-Euclidean. Simple as that, yeah. And of course, you look at the history of them trying to basically allow parallel lines to converge, and it's all visual. Yeah. There is a curve and it curves upwards. Yeah, well, that's it. I've told you, cellular Earth, you're not seeing a curve. And so, again, you have to kind of, in the same way as a glober, you have to ignore the laws of physics. And this is what I wanted to get onto. So let's start getting into this with my little whiteboard here. So let's start with this. Yeah. Let's see how far we can get. Yeah, don't be distracted by this cellular Earth nonsense. Yeah. Okay, if we cannot get back far enough to see the whole Earth, could we suppose the Earth is a fourth dimensional, not time structure? Yeah. We could again, there are a gazillion possibilities. Yeah. I mean, really, basically that this is it. I think a lot of us have realized that we can't really work it out. Maybe we're not supposed to. If you want a kind of direction, if you want to know a purpose for being here, then it is that you are able to analyze your childhood and overcome and progress from that and find some sense of freedom. And maybe there's an ongoing cycle, who knows, but it is like a game in that sense. I do feel, and again, if you're talking to, when it comes to the whole God thing, more spirituality, if you're talking to people that have never had a DMT experience or something like that, then it's lost, yeah. So. All right, here's a mass. Okay, here's a mass. Yeah, can you see that? All right. Okay, so a little clearer. The way they tell gravity, the way they explain gravity. All right. So here we have a mass. All right. The way gravity is explained to us is that a mass, the more mass you have, if this was floating in free space and it wasn't on the Earth, then it would have no weight, right? Okay, and so they say that the gravity, the amount of gravity depends on the mass. Okay, all right, so if this was a huge mass of something that would become heavy with gravity, it means that it's the gravity, there's more gravity, it's creating more gravity. They're basically saying the attraction to the Earth is more than it would be for a much smaller mass. We've got a small mass here, yeah? Okay, so we'll just put one arrow, these red arrows will represent as gravity. So the force of gravity, according to the way they explain it, is less because this has less mass. But the force of gravity here, this could maybe end up being a 10-ton block and it would squash you. If this was just a kilogram, it wouldn't squash you, yeah? And they say because the mass creates, there's more gravity acting on it, or they are, again, they kind of, they're interchangeable, aren't they? Yeah. So that's what's happening. But the thing is, when you look at reality and you look at water in reality, let's just do that. Yeah. Let's have a big tank of water. Okay, we can say maybe this could be whatever. This could be 10,000 liters or whatever. It could be a whatever. It could be 100, whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, of water. Okay, when it's contained, it becomes a mass. Okay, obviously, and that's the only way you can weigh it. When water, you can, a mass has to be in a fixed volume, right? Okay, so the thing is, though, we know from reality that if you had a pipe, so if this was some kind of tower, yeah, if you had a pipe and then that pipe went there like that, in fact we'll put it up here. Okay, here's a pipe, yeah, going for that time, yeah. This could be as massive as you like, this water, yeah, but if it's going to go down this pipe and it will only ever get as high as that, won't it? Yeah, okay, so if this pipe is higher than this, okay, doesn't matter how much water, how much pressure, remember the more water you have, the more pressure, the more weight it has, right? Okay, the more gravity it's supposed to have acting on it. So if you think about this, if we take those gravity arrows, yeah, there is supposed to be a shitload of gravity going on here, making this mass of water weigh whatever it weighs. Yeah, okay, if it's, yeah, it's supposed to be the more mass it has in a fixed volume, the more gravity is going on here. But that pressure will never take the water beyond the same level as this mass of water, unless you start pumping it or doing something artificial to push that water up. Okay. The thing is, though, so you think about it, yeah. If you're talking about in terms of gravity, this is a pipe, and this is a massive body of water with loads of gravity pushing it. It's supposed to be pushing or pulling it down. Okay. Really, what should happen if gravity was real? If we really were having a greater mass creating a greater gravitational force, then this should actually push this water up and out. Yeah, maybe I should do that in blue just to be clear. Okay. Until the mass of water is equal, but that doesn't happen. Yeah, doesn't happen, does it? That water will only ever go as high as this. So, yeah, that's it. You could have this tube, and the water's not going to go anywhere now. So, do you see what I mean? Is that making sense? If you take what they're talking about in terms of how gravity works, yeah, really, what should happen is this massive thing here should create enough to push this up, because there's going to be much less gravity working on this here. You know, so if you imagine that when they talk about the moon gravity being less, it's just like things fly up in the air higher because there's less gravity. So this little tube of water should have much less gravity affecting the water than this here, but no. All right, so yeah, this is the real physics of water. It's just the way it is, yeah? And so we do know as well that it's a scientific, so the water will never go higher. All right, if you don't believe me, you can go and look it up. Any you know, and of course we do know as well that water will always go or flow. It's going to have no problem flowing to a lower elevation. Lower elevation, yeah. That's what it does in reality. Yeah, water does this. Always. Yeah, that's real science. That's provable, repeatable, demonstrable in real life. It's true. Water always flows to a lower elevation. Yeah. So you can see immediately that the fact that water does that mean that we can't be living on a globe. Yeah. Even if you jump to outer space. Yeah. And you say, oh, there is no up and down in space because you're looking at this globe. But you stick your water tower on a globe, all right, wherever you are, it doesn't matter. You can imagine yourself on the side like that if you want to, or on the side like that, whatever. You can imagine it any way you like, but the surface is supposed to be curving down and away from you. So that means some point over here. All right, there's our level. Okay, down here, this is a lower elevation. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to have to flow. In the real world, that's what happens to water. It flows to a lower elevation. But of course, it's not supposed to do that on a globe. They're going to say that's, you know, so you have that's the thing. What happens if you have a mountain here? Is the water going to go flying up the mountain? Of course not. Never happens. But they'll say, but it's coming down. They say, well, it comes down to this. It doesn't, you know, to say that it comes down here and down here doesn't fit with reality. Just doesn't work. Yeah. Okay. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Shouldn't have to explain it, should we? Really? But it's worth doing. You know, just to, you know, this is true level. Yeah. That's what level is. Yeah. And so gravity is not a container. The idea that F equals ma, again, you know, F equals ma. Should we just look at that briefly? So, of course, the force equals mass times acceleration. It's acceleration. They're saying you need a force to create acceleration, but acceleration is a measure of what? It's a measure of time. So we know that it's you know, 9.8 meters per second squared. So basically the acceleration is basically 10. Okay. Yeah. So you've got a number now. Oh, okay, we've got a number we can plug into here. 10. So the mass, and that's how, you know, we've got the metric system. So you know, the mass is 10, whatever. Okay, times 10. Okay, and then you can work out your force. Okay, so what? It doesn't. Acceleration is just a measure of time. Meters per second. Yeah, they've taken time and turned it into a force. Yeah. it's a bit awkward to do that, but yeah. Mindfucker, it pulls everything to the centre, supposedly, right. Bayou Flats, volume of ice is larger than the same amount of liquid water, expands when frozen, does not compress. Yeah, Squirrel Sniper equilibrium. Water is globe's worst enemy. Yeah, I know that. What do you think? Simple how to... Gravity's just a word, a very heavy on light, yeah. Kim Dawes, hello. So is reality. Mindfucker, water flows 90 degrees parallel to wherever the energy field is flowing. Okay. Yeah. Simpson, our experience here is similar to the avatar in a computer game. Yeah. What's that? Tinfoil hatter, distilled water ought to be fairly clean, but as we know, some stuff still sneaks through. Tiger Bear. If time is a measurement of change, is change a measurement of perception? If time is a measurement of change, is change a measurement of perception? Interesting. Is time a measurement of change? Don't know. Yeah. Sorry, okay, there was a lot. I'm just going back through the chat there. What's that, Tinfoil Hatter? Does water have a special relationship with gravity, or is it rather stuck down here with all the rest of us? Yeah, that's why hydraulics works. Yeah, you're right, one man. Water can't be compressed, can it? Air can be, water can't be. Yeah, so in a way, it's a solid, isn't it? It is a fluid solid. Yeah. Maybe you could. Maybe mercury would be something similar. Yeah. It's still, once it's contained, it's a mass. And then you know, it's no different to having a container of but yeah, gravity isn't a container, is it? Yeah. So, all right. So I'm just going back up through the chat now. Yeah. What's that, Simpson? Earth is quantum pop-up book. Okay, worth reading. Sorry, the Magnus. Okay, the Magnus, Nick. Free PDF. Okay, look out for it. Yeah. Well, or beef. Rivers stop flowing at oceans. So if Alexandria was compared to South Distant Ocean Point, Sun is close. What's that? Rivers stop flowing at oceans. Yeah, okay. So if Alexandria was compared to a South Distant Ocean Point, Sun is close. Oh, okay. Kind of bringing two things together there. But, yeah. Yeah, it's amazing to have to be kind of like going over this stuff, really, and hoping to go beyond it. But yeah, this is true. Just, you know, water only flows to a lower elevation, and so it doesn't matter how you try and define that with your globe and things. Of course, it's you know, having a circle is very useful for in all sorts of ways, because you have this equal distribution of gravity. You know, if you assume that gravity's, it's funny, isn't it? Because you get these arguments where they say, well, oh, they still they don't understand that that gravity is a concept, and it's a concept that is married to the globe because yeah, you have this, you know, you can easily adapt the inverse square law, and you have this center point. We've all been through this. I know I'm preaching to the converted, aren't I? But it seems that a lot of people just do not have the capacity to understand that they have held these concepts in their minds, and we see it over and over again. Yeah. Yeah, one man, that's right. The water only flows because of the pressure that's upon it. You're right, yeah. So that was kind of my point, though. You know, the pressure you would assume is gravity. So the more mass this body of water has, the more gravity should be acting on it, right? They basically kind of say that gravity gives things weight. So the more mass, more weight, right? So, yeah, that's the thing. If in the illustration I did just now with the water tower and a small pipe, then there should be a lot more pressure pushing or pulling on that mass of water to make it, to give that water the pressure it needs to just splurge out of a pipe that's much, much higher. You should be able to do that given their gravitational model. But that doesn't fit reality. Water doesn't go uphill. Yeah? So gravity, that just debunks gravity. The fact that water will not rise higher than where it started from proves that this whole concept of gravity being more with more mass is absolutely bunk. It's completely, that's it. And that's all you need to know. Yeah. What's that, Mark? Hi everyone, Earth is a globe with a radius blah blah 3,440 nautical miles. We spin about an inclined axis of 23.4 degrees as we orbit the sun. Yes, we all know the rhetoric. Is it Mark G? We all know the story. We've all, it's the same as I could tell you the Three Little Pigs or Little Red Riding Hood off by heart. Does it make it true? Of course not. Okay? So, there's no spin, there's no curve. Alright? The radius is the same as just, I could put this teapot lid and it could be on a level Earth down here. Alright? And this is the path of the sun. That's the radius, okay? So, yeah. And then the 23 degrees, this is again down to perspective. What you'll find is when you play around with this is that you have left over. If you do an orthographic view, try and illustrate this a bit. Hello. Oh, thank you. All right. Bear with me. Alrighty, we've got our observer there, and people often draw an orthographic view like this and assume that there's this limit to the the amount of declination that we see. Yeah, we're talking about stars being across above a flat Earth, but actually what's happening if you do a side-on view of how can I do an arc here? Okay, so what happens is you've got a star here, and it's kind of like this. It's so we can kind of look up to it like that. Okay, but if this star is over here, further away from us, it's going to appear down here. That's the kind of line of sight we have. Okay, it's not this line of sight. Okay. All right. The distance creates declination. We know that. We know that the angular size of things decreases, doesn't it? Yeah. If you've got a building, a tall building, the further away it is from you, the shorter it's going to appear. Yeah. So then a star over here with a ground point over here is actually going to appear somewhere down here from our perspective. Yeah. Okay. All right. Basically, what happens if you take the degrees of the degrees of different stars in the sky, let's say from the North North Star, from being directly under the North Star, and you go away from it, you go and stand at the equator, and that's come down to zero. And if you mark this all out in nautical miles and degrees and what have you, you end up with this excess of 23 point whatever it is degrees, 23.4 degrees. Okay, so this tilt that they talk about, the 23.4 degrees, is just, it's kind of what's left over after you've, it's the difference between that orthographic view where there is no declination to the declination. Let me just try it again, just to kind of illustrate that again. Okay, people are going to say you're looking at a star over there like that. That's not true. Okay, a star over there is going to appear to this person much lower. Okay, so by the time it gets to the stars that were above us, directly above us, by the time you get far enough away, it's a weird, it's kind of difficult to illustrate because then you end up, but anyway, you end up with this excess of 23.4 degrees. Yeah, another way you can illustrate it is like this. Understand? Okay, there's the observer. All right, so that's the line of sight. That's where the horizon is going to be for the observer. Yeah, this is going to be their horizon. Wherever it is, how far away it appears to be, that's their horizon. Yeah, okay. The person's eye level is always going to be the horizon. Yeah. So what you've got basically is you've got the Earth appearing to rise up, and you've got the sky appearing to come down. Yeah, and you have angles here, and you have angles here. You've got right angles here. Okay. What happens here is you end up mathematically with the 23.4 degrees here. Okay, it's not down there, is it? The Earth doesn't appear down there, it appears to have risen up. So when we illustrate this, what happens is we get 23.4 degrees. Yeah, because you know that when you add up the angles of a triangle, you get 180 degrees total in the triangle. Yeah. All right. Okay. I can't be bothered to do the whole thing, but it basically, that's where you're missing 23.4 degrees is. Yeah. Because no one takes it into account. The fact that the Earth has come up to your eye level. So that difference is 23.4 degrees. Yeah. That's the tilt. And so that's why they use that number. Yeah. Hi, Flat Truth. Good question, Tiger Bear. Can we actually be directly beneath the pole star? Yeah. Never, again, same here. Never seen anyone be under it. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, in my last stream, it was. I was talking about No Fanfare. No Fanfare was the channel that has this idea of the southern stars being mirrors of the northern stars. Really good video. Go check out his channel. Very good research, and he's even made some salad bowl models. It's very, very, very clever. So yeah, No Fanfare is the channel you need to go and watch there. Yeah. All right. Simpson, that's a nicely put there. Your awareness projects into a self-enclosed system. Yeah. Okay, it question mark. Thanks for the hard work you've done over the years. I'm not sure if that's who's that directed at. It's directed at me. Thank you very much. It's just a labour of love. You for all of us, I'm sure it was the same. You just want to. Man, I'm getting hot now. Yeah, sorry. Kind of. Hopefully the fan doesn't disrupt the microphone too much. Yeah, it's just you can't believe once you see it, isn't it? You just want to tell each other, tell people. You just want to help, and as we were talking about earlier with the whole the agriculture, the everything that's going on that's happening globally. This whole global illusion Uh, Maybe this is why civilizations fall apart eventually. You know, it's just well, there could be a whole bunch of reasons, couldn't there? You know, but they just get. It's just, you know, if you keep it, the ones that stay locally, the ones that kind of just live in harmony with the earth and the water, they're the ones that outlive, unless of course they do get destroyed by, you know, people like us that come along. It's great listening to what's his name, Hancock, isn't it? He's been on Joe Rogan a few times. I wish I could remember his name properly now, but some fascinating research. In fact, they're doing you know, you can even see it's on Netflix. This guy's, it's not, no, what's his name? He's been doing lots of exploring all these ancient sites and everything, but he's now got a documentary series on Netflix, and it's fascinating because they are coming up with the proof and the evidence through ground radar penetration and things like that, that there are civilizations that have been there and built things tens of thousands of years before we, you know, assumed, you know, that they were there and had the capabilities of doing it. So these guys are finally getting recognition. It's wonderful to see, really, that I think one of the first one I saw was in Java, I think it was, and there's these places that have been built on and built on over you know, millennia, and it's fascinating. We just don't know what happened to them. Was there a reset? Was there a flood? I think there is general consensus there was a flood, right? I mean, that's what caused it. You know, did waters rise or did the earth sink? You know, the cause and effect thing. We don't know. Did someone open a floodgate somewhere? You know, who knows? Do we are these? And again, kind of comes back to the title. I'll kind of wrap it up soon after this, but the title of this was the heliocentrism's cosmic clock. Again, when we talked about gravity there, it's we're talking about acceleration, a measure of time. So having this measure of time is essential to have for the gravity and force equation. Turning this measure of time into a measure of force or a calculation of force. So it's all just become abstract, but there's no denying that the stars and everything we see in the sky is definitely a clock, isn't it? This cosmic clock, and what that really means to us as a worldwide or as worldwide inhabitants or as individuals may be much more important than the importance that it's given. Sure, you know, our stars, souls, is there something a lot more intrinsic to our being going on there? Yes, we can speculate, we can make all sorts of assumptions, but you know, what can we really claim as being true? But there obviously is, you know, to be able to do that, to be able to measure the passage of time, is obviously something that is useful, and it's something we're meant to do, I suppose. And of course, for the material world to exist, you need some kind of sense of time, I suppose, as well. Things have to have time and space in which to occur. But it all becomes abstract. But yeah, sun, the moon, the stars doing their things. It's fascinating, really, and yeah, the navigation and all that comes from it. So this isn't about going back to the Stone Age or belittling any of that. It's seeing these things as so much more connected to our life than the disconnect we're kind of given, or the way we're told it's just because the earth is spinning. Yeah. All held together with theories and nothing that really makes any sense in reality. Sure, or these little bits and pieces can be put together. They've been cobbled together over hundreds of years to try and, they're excuses really for what all we got is a bunch of explanations and excuses why things do or don't happen, rather than, actually just observing reality. Yeah. Brian. Oops, sorry, I'm scrolling. D. Cummings, I'm in this now on Facebook on our towns page. It's fun to watch people go straight to insults and not look at anything. Posts so many are lost. Yeah, and that is a shame. That is a shame. Yeah, and we know this is trauma. Every single one of us has been through trauma in some sense, and it's funny how that you have to heal from that. You have to address these issues. I think, again, if you want to talk about the meaning of life, why we're here, it's like you are going to experience some kind of trauma. Things are going to be challenging. Things are going to be difficult, and like a game or a simulation, you've got to face that. You've got to overcome those difficulties, and then you will progress, and things will get better. And maybe that's the whole goal of the game. Not to be playing the victim all the time, and certainly not to be kind of pointing the finger at other people for whatever things that you see as being, less than you are, as it were. Yeah. No, this is we are kind of all in this together. There is a huge amount of responsibility that we bear for ourselves, for our families, and some people might think that focusing on flat Earth is a distraction or diversion, or you're not giving enough time to your family. It's like, well, I'm on here for an hour or so, and the rest of the time I'm doing stuff with my family. So. And there's a lot of quality family time there, so I shall not be cajoled into believing that this is a waste of time. Flat truth, true. Time is a creation of man, yeah. Or the way we divide it up, yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, it's flow, isn't it? Time is flow. It's like a river. You can't. Yes, we can dissect things, and we can, even just, for example, turning a circle into 360 degrees is, yes, you're right. It's just a concept that we have, yeah, and it makes us easy. It makes it easy for us to manipulate it mathematically. But yeah, that's not really how nature works, is it? Really, it's always now, and we are. Totally preoccupied by concepts so much of the time. 99% of the time we are preoccupied by concepts, and it's you'll see people around you doing it all the time, and they're trying to preempt this or that. They're trying to plan. You imagine that a future scenario might occur like this, and then you imagine what you might do if this happens, and then what if that happens. And you end up constructing this whole fake reality in your mind that has nothing to do with now, and probably isn't going to turn out any way that you expected. You're always dealing with concepts, yeah. So I think, of course, these so-called global leaders that are having I don't know. Are they all wrapped up in it? No, they're faking. The way it makes me want to puke. The way you see them acting, it's they maybe they realise it's all or they realise just how easily we can be all deceived by perceptions, or just get us thinking about something. You get the general public thinking about something, and especially with the mainstream media, to carry some concept. And away they go with it. There's, you end up, of course, arguing about the concept or the dichotomy that's created, rather than going back to realizing that, well, that was just a concept in the first place. It's not reality. But Mindfucker, could it be that life is just a dream and we are the imagination of ourselves? Well, then, okay, but then what is ourself? Because, that's the thing. It's like I was listening to Eckhart Tolle the other day, and of course your idea that my life, you kind of have this idea that you own your life. It's like, well, no, you're just an observer of your life. Going, it's the fact that you're alive, living life, doesn't mean that it's a figment of something else's imagination. As I was saying, a lot of what we end up going on in our minds is perception, it's concepts, and that's not your life. These concepts and things, or these identities that you have about yourself, that's not you. That's just your mind playing mind games and feeding off this and that. But the real you is something else. It's this observer that you can eventually tune into as you watch your life unfold. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. Often your thoughts and your concepts are not your life. Yeah. They're a product of your wild imagination. Yeah. And it's usually very different to a perception that someone else is having. Sorry, I'm just looking at the chats again. What's that? Pablo's dog. Time is a useful metric. Of course, yeah. It's very, very handy. And again, you need a start and a stop point, don't you? You need somewhere. It's if you're going to talk about time, set schedules and things. Navigation, yeah. Fine. There's no argument. Again, it must be made very clear that nothing changes. Nothing changes about the way we navigate. Nothing changes about the way we see the world. Nothing changes about the way the seasons change, or the stars go overhead at certain times, or the sun. Nothing changes. It all is just, but it's how we perceive it. Yeah. And as I said, the perception is something that we can entertain a gazillion different perceptions, and no one can make any claims to know for sure. Yeah. But there's definitely a spiritual journey going on. There's some purpose for sure. Yeah. Now, I know Dell's brought this up before about the cruelty of nature, and how, for example, let's say some kind of poor animal gets eaten from the arse up by a lion, and that's a very horrific thing for that animal to go through. What if it's karma? What if these things happen? It's just it is a what if. I'm not making any claims here, but the thing is, on the one side, it's difficult to know whether these things are a learning process, because obviously it seems that once we're snuffed out and we die, we don't seem to remember. If at least we could remember, then maybe we could do more about our previous mistakes or whatever. But hey, maybe what if meeting a grisly end is some kind of form of karma for what you might have done in the past? Yeah. I've no idea, but the Buddhists don't necessarily believe that either. It's often a misconception that you get born as a slug because if you did bad karma. Again, it makes a lot of assumptions about what this place is in the first place, but it's a possibility. Yeah. What's that? All I can see one man. You're talking about something. Same time they are happy to spend hours down the pub getting pissed and watching football. Yeah, I'm. You know, probably, if you're like me, you've probably kind of gone off that a long time ago. Yeah, it's nice to have a beer, but one's enough for me. You know, that's it. Eye level. Hello. Hope you're doing all right, man. In Tinfoil Hat, a reaction is more automatic response, implies socialized consciousness or deliberation, supposedly. Well, yeah, we can always choose in different ways to react, can't we? Obviously, you know, I think there is, when, you know, if you're in danger, then certain things do kick in, and you operate on a slightly different level there, maybe, but yeah, when there's a very clear and present danger, then you know you certainly kind of often react. Obviously, if you've had some kind of training, then you might react very differently, depending on the training you've had. So yeah, conditioning plays a huge role in that, I'm sure. So yeah, a lot of the time we do react from the way we could be conditioned, don't we? Yeah, and I think that's the trick, isn't it? You know, you need to. Part of the challenge is to see that, to observe the reactions that we have when we're faced with certain situations. And if we were more observant, if we were more compassionate, if we were, you know, more tuned into that, then things could maybe improve on a wider scale. Yeah. What's that, brass neck? I like your logo, by the way. Everything is connected to the consciousness. Us, the grass, water, all connected to the same thing as different frequencies. Yeah. Do you really have that connection with plants and things like that? I mean, do you really feel that connection? Does even something like a cow or an elephant feel a connection with every living being? Probably not. You know, a cow might walk through a field and squash animals and eat animals that are on the grass and things like that, and probably isn't really aware of them. So how much connection do we really have? Maybe, of course, on a kind of cellular level and things like that, then things, you know, they yeah, it's to achieve that kind of connection with absolutely everything is you have to be in a very, very pure state, don't you? Everything is consciousness. Yeah, and think about, okay, I mean, you know, Simpson, everything is consciousness. Well, how do you define consciousness? I would say that, of course, like you know, it's an intelligently designed system. But you know, it's like, for example, your body does its things. You know, you grow and you heal and things like that without any kind of conscious interaction whatsoever. Now I know that, for example, there's a guy that walks barefoot in the snow, and he very consciously, you know, there is this conscious connection where he's willing his, you know, normal people would just end up with frostbite or something. You know, he doesn't. And so there is some conscious input there, but for the most part, there isn't much conscious in. We're not responsible for the grass growing or the trees doing all the sun, you know. So that's something beyond us, isn't it? It's can we really get connected? We can't get to the point where we're connected so much that, you know. Do you see what I mean? We still struggle to find any meaning or any true understanding or true knowledge. So how connected really are we? Yeah, do you see what I'm saying? Everything is it's kind of a blanket statement, to be honest. Everything is consciousness. I kind of know what you're saying. It's alive. There is, sure, everything works in unison, in tandem. The flowers, the animals, the water, the air. Of course, yeah. There's it would seem quite deliberately put there and allowed to work in a way that, you know, water does certain things, trees do certain things, the sun does a certain thing. So yeah, they all have their place, but you know, it's like inside a computer. Is the USB port aware of what the hard drive's doing? Probably not. It's just, you know, there's these different parts of the machine, and it would appear to, you know, a machine that's connected in that way can appear to have some kind of intelligence and consciousness, but those individual parts have absolutely no awareness or consciousness of the rest of it. Yeah, so where do we fit into this machine? Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Okay, Glenn Souch, man was created in time on the 6th day. Okay. Tinfoil Hatter, it's a fairly elaborate fake. It's what it is, so to speak, but maybe we can do better. Sure, okay. Maybe I kind of, that was a point made way back. Okay. Tinfoil Hatter, future karma is hardly fair. Glenn Souch, they say an elephant can feel through its feet, in which they can hear more than with their own. They're very, very sensitive to vibration, and that's why when elephants arrive at the elephant sanctuary, unfortunately, for the first, they do have to be chained up for a while, because they can, if there is a vibration that sets them off, they can just go running off. Boom! If they're not familiar with the territory, they'll just go running off. And I've seen it happen before. You know, when elephants get shocked, you know, all of a sudden the mahout's got to go running after the elephant and try and, you know, coax it back, because they do get spooked very easily. So yes, they are very sensitive. Yeah, definitely to vibrations that we might not be aware of. And yeah, I mean, the elephants, when the tsunami came in 2004, the elephants knew. They ran to high ground, so yeah, they knew a tsunami was coming. So that's something that's ingrained into them over a lot of time. Yeah. So, oops. Simpson, stop thinking, judging, labeling, and you see it's all one thing. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I don't know if you're responding to me there. Glenn Souch, we are connected, but we're disconnected in our awareness to being connected. There's consequences for not being in balance with nature. Absolutely, for sure. You know, I mean, you look at an ant colony, or a bee colony. I mean, fascinating, isn't it? How they of course are individuals, and they're doing everything for the hive or for the queen. Yeah. Do they know they're doing that though? I think they kind of do. That maybe they're operating on a completely different level. Yeah. Simpson, all parts have a type of proto-awareness on a fundamental level. Flat truth, I have just had a life-changing diagnosis. Time is now shortened on this plane, so trying to understand one's existence during their allotted time here becomes a question one tries. Okay, flat truth. Well, I mean, sorry to hear that, but do not let that push you into making rash decisions. You know, I've not forgot. I'm not. You know, I hope you just kind of. We're all gonna go, you know, and it could happen tomorrow, or it could happen in 10, 20, 30 years time. Yeah, so you know, find a way to live with it, man. And hey man, if you wanna have a chat anytime, if you wanna share that kind of thing in private, that's okay. My email is nick@stretchoutmedia, yeah, NICK at STRETCHOUTMEDIA.com. Yeah, anyone's welcome to get in touch. A few people have in the past, and we have some conversations, but it's tough, to be honest, to keep things, keep the communication going. But I'm happy to have some private conversations with any of you guys. Yeah. So, flat truth, don't assume that your time is shortened. Yeah, because you don't know how long you've got anyway. Yeah. So put that out of your mind. Yeah. Get on with living life. Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right, one man. Yeah, oh man, it's magnificent when you hear them actually do that low rumble, and of course, yeah, sometimes you can't hear. Are there a lot of elephants in Phuket? Yes, there are lots. Yeah, they're not necessarily native to Phuket. There's two different. There's wild elephants in certain forests. They're not really down south so much, but more kind of central or northern Thailand. So the wild elephants, and there's a lot of they're very well protected. They're just left to do their own things, and there's lots of forest for them to roam around in. They just do their own thing. But then there are domestic elephants, and so there's a long tradition of there are elephant owners, and they might own a lot of elephants, just like a farmer might own a lot of cows. Now, traditionally, those elephants would be put to work in logging. Now, in some ways, it's not as cruel as it might sound, because first of all, elephants are very strong, and especially the male elephants. They need an outlet. It's just like a 20-year-old lad is quite happy to go and work on a construction site if he wants to just keep fit and healthy, and it's a good way of whatever, the same can be said for elephants. They need an outlet. They need a release they've got that strength, yeah? So, but of course, it depends, they might get treated harshly, or they might not, there are so many variables there. But of course, what often happens is you get the elephants are then in tourist traps where, an elephant is very strong and can pull a lot, but really their backs are not that strong, so the whole riding thing is very bad for them. It's not good for them. So the trekking and things like that, it's not really good. So with the elephants I work with, the way this sanctuary works is they basically approach the owners of the elephants that are being used in kind of tourist traps and things like that, and say, look, we still have to pay the elephant owner, because that's the thing. It's like any domestic animal that's bred as something. They need to earn money, yeah. So the way we do it is say we'll basically put them in this nice, pleasant environment where we don't use chains or hooks, and there's no riding, and they're given a bit of a free rein. They're allowed to go off, and so. But of course, we have to find a way to pay the owner at least the equivalent of what they might be getting from this tourist place. So that's how that works, yeah. Just reading the comments again. Angle of elevation. Hello. One thing we learned during this pandemic: doctors can be wrong. Yes, definitely. So yeah, but of course, these guys. The summit now. Who's got the floor? Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab. And then you see these PMs sucking up to, and it's just like sickening. Yeah. And then they're given the platforms. Tinfoil Hatter, doctors can not only be mean, they're not so very nice as folks might think, in many cases at least. Be well advised, but be kind if possible, right? yeah, not all doctors are kind, yeah. Okay. Okay, flat truth. We'll pass knowing so many truths buried in the lies. I have been blessed. Oh, yeah. Kind of, you give me goosebumps. Flat truth. um, it's isn't it weird? Because how much does that affect our life and the way we live, knowing that we're going to die? I mean, some people might want to live forever, and why would that be? Is that because they're really enjoying it? I don't know. I mean, you do change, don't you? As you get older, you come to accept certain things, and you become less, I suppose, less passionate about certain things. Of course, you can feel that certain people, my dad died much earlier than he should have done, but he was given a diagnosis and followed the doctor's treatment. I was desperate to tell him not to, but he wouldn't listen. But yeah, they finished him off pretty quick. Yeah. So he hasn't seen his grandkids, doesn't know that they exist. Yeah. But there's always going to be a limit, isn't there? Yeah. Okay, Mark G, you're off to the salt mine. All right. Okay. Yeah. Really, one man? They finished off your stepdad 3 years ago. Yeah, that's the most painful thing, isn't it? Again, it's a lesson, isn't it? It's like that's one of these things you've got to face. It's like you see people take the toxic route that is going to kill them, and you know that there are alternative ways. Again, this is not making any assumptions about anyone else, flat truth, your condition or whatever. Who knows what the situation is with you. And either way, whatever, we're going to die of something, right? Yeah, it's going to, whatever, we're going to end this life with something's got to go wrong, whether it's heart failure, lung failure, or whatever, kidneys, whatever, it could be anything, yeah? Something fails and we meet our demise. Yeah, it's, I wonder, yeah, there's, is there a, who knows, is there a time we're supposed to go? It's time we're supposed to be born. Yeah. Yeah, but obviously pondering it can get us into, not living life, I suppose. So I'm just trying to show some chats. Oh God, hide. Someone trying to creep in here with hot girl links. Hello, Sean. We never worry about our birth, says one man. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna wrap it up now. It's been fun. Yeah. And thanks for coming along. And I hope you're having a good weekend so far. And it's great just to have done this touch base with you all. And let's do some more very soon. Maybe I should set this up, with a bit more cohesiveness, or do some more recorded things. But it's nice to have the chat going and yeah. So thank you, one man. Okay. Just read a couple more comments. Well, thank you, one man. And what's that, Sean Hawkins? Hey everyone, did you pick up Lucky Haskins yet? He does some great flat smacking. Well worth a look. Okay. Lucky Haskins. No. Okay, I'll have a look into that. Tinfoil Hatter, yeah, it's ironic that the most celebrated scientists are already old and never quite reach their promised potential. Life is fast down here. It's a race of futility. It could be said. Nowhere Yosei. Okay. Eddie Anderson, nice to see you again. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's good to be back with the family. Yeah. So, all right. So I'll say goodbye for now. All right. Thank you very much for coming along. And So cheerio from here in Phuket, southern Thailand, and we'll catch up very soon. Okay, take care. Cheers.